This is going to be how I applied to the Ensa president 30 minutes the deadline. So my final conversation with Gio, who was the then president, happened just 3 days before the application deadline. Now, it was finally time to work on my application, including my manifesto. Bear in mind, I had never actually planned to run for president, so I suddenly had to start thinking about initiatives, policies, and ideas that I believe could improve students' experiences and add more value to the student community. Thankfully, because I was already serving as a student lead director and program representative, I had gained a lot of insight into student life and the challenges that students faced. So figuring out what I wanted to do was not the difficult part. I completed the first draft of my manifesto the very next day and sent it to my friend Nene for review. He sent it back to me the following morning with his feedback. Now, this was deadline day. Application were closing at exactly 12 noon, but there was one problem. I had 4-hour part-time shift from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. So suddenly, what started as 3 days left became 3 hours left. Immediately after work, I rushed straight to the cafeteria to submit my application. I opened my laptop, set everything up, and started filling out the application form. Completed everything, but when I clicked submit, nothing happened. The application simply would not submit, and at this point, panic started kicking in. I quickly messaged Gio to ask whether the portal had already been closed. He responded almost immediately and told me to contact Daniel, who was serving as the electoral officer at the time. But the only way to reach him was through email. Now, at this point, it is almost an hour left before the deadline, so I sent the email and waited impatiently. And hallelujah! Daniel replied in less than 15 minutes. He explained that the application portal was still opened and working perfectly on their end. Then he suggested that I try using a different device instead of my laptop since it was not working. Daniel was also kind enough to say that if new device does not work, I should forward my application materials to him and he would do that for me. The only other device I had was my phone, but immediately thought, if the laptop is not working, how will the phone even work? So quickly transferred all the files from my laptop onto my phone and started the entire process all over again. At this point, I had barely 30 minutes left behind the deadline. I completed the process again on my phone, pressed submit. Finally, it went through. At that exact moment, I officially became candidate in the electoral race. The next episode, I will share my campaign experience during my very first student election at Edinburgh Napier University. See you in the next video.